Hi. The combination of Mars and Mercury in retrograde is bringing up in me beautiful and valuable insights and reflections about my past and the burden of access to such a fountain of self-hatred, that I don't know what to do with myself. And there's like so much of it that it's kind of just like overpouring into like hating people that are a part of the interactions of my own self-sabotaging patterns come out. Because I'm struggling to hold the truth of you create yourself. Like you are constantly creating you. And that's all you have the capacity to do. Like all that is in you is all that is outside of you. And that's your only limitation, which is sick. But it's also just like, when you're in the place that I'm at, where all I am seeing is like every reason to be like, oh, because of that darkness inside of you, you just fumbled some of the only good things in your life. How do you feel about that? Oh, you just want to keep hating yourself about that. Yeah, cool. Let's do that. That's kind of the only train at the station at the moment. And I'm struggling. I'm struggling. And sometimes I think that awareness is a part of the weight. If that makes sense. It does make sense. Annabelle, no, I'm not going to get pissed off at myself for being insecure. We're not doing that. That's the thing. I'm kind of like, I'm stopping myself at every opportunity because of how rife my inner critic is right now. And just like, oh, baby, the more fuel that I give her, and by fuel, I mean awareness. Because I feel like inner critics, mine at least, thrive off, it's not validation, but like justification or evidence of like why they're right. And I feel like awareness feeds into my inner critic. Awareness is like the playing ground that my inner critic like steps up on and is like, oh, now you've gained insight about your world. Let's just use that insight to point out every single thing that you did wrong and every single reason that you are the cause of your destruction and your pain. And you can't even take that away from yourself unless you heal. Oh, I'm having difficulty. I'm really struggling. And the more like universal truths that I hear, the more that I'm like, can we stop talking about it, please? I'm sick of it. I'm sick of having frameworks that help me identify patterns in order to help me grow. Because you know what? Right now I'm in the stage of growth that's like right before like something great, where all of my shit is just coming up. Like that's why there's criticism. Like I know, like me a month ago at my therapist's appointment, I was like, I feel like my life is trying to tell me that I'm supposed to change because it's the November, December, like fucked shift. You know what I mean? Like if you're in the generation of Pluto and Sagittarius, your life's fucked right now. Okay? I know it, you know it, it's fine. It's how it's supposed to be. But like, bitch, I'm at the end of my tether. And that's a great sign because it means that there's something great on the horizon. But like, I'm sick of being in the sea. I want to be on the horizon. I want to be not here. And I get that like, the light at the end of the tunnel of all of this is just love yourself and forgive yourself for being a human being. And just remember that like everything is meant to be what it's supposed to be. And you can only do the things that you can do in the moment. And you can only create the reality that's inside of yourself. La 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 la, la la la, la 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 la. I'm gonna fucking kill her. Because it doesn't, I hate it. Right now I'm hating wisdom. I'm hating it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I also hate my fucking door that just keeps swinging with the wind. Be right back. Okay. I'm in a particular tizzy this morning because I woke up with one of these universal truths in my head, which is the whole, when you're trying to make a change, or if you like announce a change, or if you announce a commitment, or if you announce anything, if you in your reality go, this is something that I now want in my life, or this is something that I want for myself, or this is a person that I want to become, this is a habit that I want to break, this is a pattern that I'm seeing that I want to change. You are in and of yourself saying, I need to change as a person. My insides need to change, so my outsides need to change. And there are going to be things that are keeping you a certain way. Like, if you smoke cigarettes and you're addicted to nicotine, the addiction to nicotine and the reliance on it, whatever you use it for, however you started using it, that reliance, that pattern, that addictive tendency, the escapism, the whatever it is for you, like the relief, the whatever it fucking is, that part of your cognition and part of who you are as a person is a block. So that part of you needs to change. And it needs to change on so many levels. Like, addiction is a big one. It needs to change on, it's not just like a matter of like, oh, I'm just not gonna smoke anymore. It's like, no, babe, that is a crutch in probably so many fucking avenues of your life. Probably withholds you from stress, it helps you in social situations, whatever the fuck. There's the two that came to my head. In order to kick the addiction, you're gonna need to do so fucking much. But it's also, and you're also gonna be met with like all of these little challenges of like, when you go out with your friends, you're going to be surrounded by people that are smoking, and because you've always smoked, and you're going to have to come with like, you're going to face all the little parts of you that go, I want that, or I feel left out, or blah, 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 they're judging me, blah, 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 blah. All of these little parts that are aligned with the part of you that goes, smoking is great. I've been smoking for 15 years. Why would I stop? This has been great for me. Why can't we just keep doing that? You're going to come in contact with the part of you that embodies that and that holds you to that pattern and that prefers familiarity and prefers the known person of who you are that has that crutch. So you fundamentally just need to change who you are. So you often need to change behaviors, beliefs, patterns, some subconscious and some that you've never encountered before. Like, you might be sitting there as a person who makes a particular choice or has a particular lifestyle, and you do things a particular way, and you might know the reasons why you do some things. You might be aware that you started smoking because you were friends with a bunch of smokers and it was really social. So you might be aware that that's a reason why you're doing those things. But there are also going to be so many fucking things that you don't know. There's going to be so many things that you are not conscious of that are like instilling this behavior or this lifestyle inside of you. And you're also going to confront a lot of them. And you might not always know that they're related to what you're trying to change. But oftentimes, and so they'll come up as like a challenge. They'll come up as there's a fairy card that like says it perfectly. It's the Singer of Initiation. I wish I could read it to you, but I don't know where the book is. Anyway. When you invite change, you incite challenge, because you don't just get it. You know what I mean? You don't just say, I'm going to quit nicotine, and you don't just do it. If you ask to change, you incite challenge, and that can happen in every single fucking area of your life. It doesn't have to, I'm just using smoking as a thing because it's an easy narrative. Well, bless you. If you're trying to quit smoking, it's not an easy narrative. It's actually a really fucking difficult narrative, but it's a good, metaphor? I don't fucking care. I'm at my wit's end right now. I could give a shit less. I woke up this morning with that awareness in my head, looking back on like 2 pivotal things in my life that happened in the past 6 months, and just seeing a new lens of my self-sabotage of, oh, I announced this thing. I announced my commitment and my choice to this thing. And then in the preceding weeks, everything that is inside of me that didn't align with that choice came up. And they were like, to give myself credit, I think about like 80% of it I actually cleared and did a really good job with. And then 20% I fucking failed. And to be fair, one of those things, it wasn't just on me. It was on another person as well. And I can't judge that person. That person's none of my fucking business anymore. So as far as I'm concerned, they're out of my life. But it's hard not to look back and like hate myself. Especially when I know the value of what I failed at both times. Because there's also like, there's another third thing. There's a third thing that's like that's a different arc. Because this is the thing. This is the delusion. This is the delusion of choice and of perspective and of like, I'm not at the level of self-manipulation that I can choose to change how I feel or how I believe about certain things. Like, as much as I'm a person that when we start talking about belief, I'm like, it's delusion, it's your choice. So belief, even though the experience of it is something profound and beautiful, at the end of the fucking day, it's you just being like, I picked the delusion that feels good for me. This feels right, so therefore it is true because I believe in it. That's all belief is. I'm still at the mercy of it. And so is everyone else. Well, maybe not. Maybe there's some enlightened individuals. There probably is. Great for you guys. I'm not there. There's another aspect of my life in which I've seen a different arc. But these two can kind of be construed because I made a commitment to something and I like chose a path. And then I felt myself on that path like reach a peak of like my purpose of being there. And then everything kind of just went down hill from that point. And I came away from that lesson being able to understand sometimes you go into things and the world tells you that this thing looks one way, and then you go on your journey with it and you find how it looks for you and you find your purpose and you find your value of, I entered this thing to only get to this stage. And maybe other people get to different stages, but I don't think I'm supposed to, because I think the reason why I came here was this, and I learned a really valuable lesson and it changed me for the better. And I was willing to let go and I was willing to leave at that point. But then societal pressures changed that for me and I stayed and it turned sour and it turned shit. And it requires discernment from myself to be able to tell the difference between the two. And I think the difference is seeing that light and feeling that like true understanding of like value of like, oh, this is why this happened. You know, feeling that belief, feeling that purpose, and knowing that like knowing that the place that I actually feel the anger at is at, like in that other circumstance, where I feel my anger is, why didn't I just listen after I felt that divine moment? I wish I just kept with that goal. I wish I just kept with that, not goal, I wish I just kept with that knowing of, okay, I'm done here. And that's where a lot of my frustration is. My frustration isn't on any part of the preceding events. But with these other two circumstances in my life, I look at them and I go, no, my anger is at the point of failure of myself, because there isn't, I don't know, maybe I have different values of what lessons should be and like why we go through things, but I think I can't find, I don't find the same weight of like, oh, I entered this situation and like this was the purpose, and it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel the same. Like we didn't reach that purpose in those other two situations. It was just the point that I reached was a challenge, and I didn't pass it. I didn't succeed. And I know that like in universal terms, the universe is not going to like see me live that way and then damn me forever. Like it's not, like that's not all of the, like value is also a human thing. Like valuing things, everything in the universe's eye is. It just is. Everything just is. It just exists. In the way that it is, energy simply is, exists, flows. Balance is, and balance maintains itself. So I understand that that's the universal perspective. So any like judgment or any kind of doomsday bullshit is from my own projection. So I understand that like even me quantifying or like qualifying these things as failures is my own inner dialogue. But I feel very trapped. And I just feel angry. I feel angry and I feel trapped and I feel at a loss of the willingness to embody any kind of light or any kind of purpose in like a deeper sense. I think in a shallow sense, when I go through my everyday life, it's like easy to be like, la, 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 la. But when I think of like how rooted I feel in myself at the moment, it's pretty low. Like it's pretty like, what the fuck's the point? My self-worth is like low. And I blame that on awareness. And that's like backwards, I understand. But right now, that's what my victimized little part of me is feeling. It's feeling like everything would just be so much easier if I couldn't see. Not literally, I mean like if I wasn't insistent on seeing myself, then I wouldn't hate myself. And there's a part of me that's just like, I just want to be, I wish I was unconscious. I wish I just was somebody that walked around unconscious. But like, if I was that, I would be a I would be hurting everyone left, right, and center. I would be hurting myself. I'd be hurting people. I'd be making the wrong, I would be such a painful person to exist for myself and anyone that came around me. And that's like the burden of having to heal, is that like, or like that's the burden of wounding, is that like you either are wounded and inflict it on everything in your life, or you take a steps to heal and you gain wholeness, but then you gain insight of the whole. So you gain sight of the darkness and you take accountability for the darkness and you take accountability for your whole self. And my whole self right now is just like too much. And I know that's like the feminine wounding. The feminine wounding is I'm too much that no that my masculine and like another person's masculine energy could never hold me. Feminine wounding 101. Masculine wounding 101 is I am not enough. I cannot do enough. I cannot give enough. Feminine wounding, I am too much. All of my feelings, all of my being, all of my chaos is too much. All of my light and all of my darkness is too much. I feel anxious about decisions. I feel angry at myself. And I feel angry at other people as well, but it's like, there's no point. There's no point in feeling anything towards anyone else, because when you go deep enough into the feeling, it just loops back around to you anyway. And like, I saw this thing, this person that I follow, she's like one of the only influencer type, like wellness people that I follow. And she was saying something about feelings, and like, this is a complete side tangent, but I'm getting so concerned about how some rhetorics in society about emotions, because she's saying this thing about like just labeling yourself as like feeling deeply sensitive rather than naming sadness or confusion, because there were too many narratives associated with those emotions. And like, that's the whole point of naming your emotions and like naming your experience, is because we're gonna have narratives and we're gonna have stories that we tell ourselves about particular emotions. But that's our humanity that has done that. Like, that is what you have inflicted upon a pure feeling or emotion. And rather than like giving yourself a loophole of just being like, no, I'm this thing, it's like, no, why don't you step into the integrity of feeling and owning your emotions and removing your own associations and removing the burden that you have placed on feeling. Complete side tangent, but I think it's just important to like know. Something that I always want to talk about. Anyway, I'm struggling. And I'm here in commiseration. Because it's hard. And it's going to get easy. And then it's going to get hard again. And it's like, it's just like that. It's just like, it just is. It just is. And it's going to be like that on an individual level. And it's like everyone was talking about, I don't know, if you're in astrology communities or just in spiritual communities, 5 years ago, everyone was talking about the fact that, I remember saying this to my friends, of just like, the shifts that are coming with like the changes of Pluto and like all the generational planets is the trajectory that like stuff in politics and entertainment and social realms and cultural realms on like a grand scale are going to be like all coming out as like flawed, what's that word? Corrupt. Like, so much darkness is going to be uncovered in the world. Like, we're just going to be plunged into all of the darkness that needs to be overturned for a great shift. It's that same pattern. It's the same pattern of change that you see as an individual on your own life, is that every time you want to make a change, every time your intention or your goal is set towards a higher sight, all of the shit needs to leave. Like, you need to get rid of all of the fuckery that is held, like that is holding you or whatever into this present state of unconscious operation that is ultimately harming a lot of people or yourself or whatever. And it's just getting harder because we're just getting closer. Like, everything looks fucked in the world. And that's not everything. Just for this is also the flip side. The more everything looks fucked, the more that like everything will want to try and balance out and just keep getting good and like better and better and better and better. And in the same timeline that we see so much fucked up shit, we're going to see so much light shit. And in the timeline that you yourself as an individual are going to see all of your problems, you're also going to have the capacity to see all of your potential. And I don't know how much longer I can hold this polarity in like a way that is like safe for my mental stability. And I understand that I'm just saying this right now. And I understand that in my day-to-day life, I don't have continual access to this feeling or this awareness because I just can't. Like, I can't live in constant connection to this like existential dread. But it's here right now and it's what I'm feeling. And I think it just feels like too much and I want to be a baby again. Yeah. Feels like too much and I want to be a baby again. Feels like too much and I need to go see some friends because it also just feels better when you're connected to people who see you and who you see. So, Annabelle, not solutions, but supports. I think I'm gonna go cry because I just feel like I'm on the brink of. I'm gonna try and see a friend today. I don't know who, but I'm gonna try and see a friend. And I'm gonna try to do what I need to feel okay. And even if that is being the shadow parts of myself, I need to be okay with that because that's all I can feel to do is be okay with what I'm doing. And if you feel similarly, oh God, I feel you. And I hope that you can give yourself the same leniency, and I hope that in the moments where the choices present to you to like choose progression, that you can, and in the moments where you can't, just know that it's okay. And it's okay to not pick, it's okay to not be ready, it's okay to not embody your lightest self, and it's okay to not be perfect, and it's okay, like all of that stuff is okay. And I hope I know that too. And keep control of your temper. I know I have to. Mars in retrograde in Leo. Temper, anger, outbursts, Mercury retrograde as well. People are going to misspeak. People are going to say some stupid things that they don't mean. People are going to miscommunicate, and people are going to be prone to anger outbursts, and it's just going to be a bit of a tentative time. And it's also holidays. Like, I know for me, holidays aren't actually that bad. My family aren't that dramatic, but I know some people's are. So I really hope that, I was just about to say, I was like, the awareness of what's going on might help you hold like an objective perspective, which is true. But again, awareness just seems to be the thing that I am like shriveling under the gaze of. But that's my thing. Anyway, it's now half an hour. Holy shit. Welcome to Existential Morning. Maybe that's what I'll title this. I'm also having so much trouble titling my videos. I don't even know what to call anything anymore. But we can only try. Truly, we can only try. I want to try and talk more and make more talky this, but we'll see where that goes. Anyway, bye.